Hey! Hello, hello. And how are you this evening? It's Monday evening. Easter Monday. It's still a holiday here. So some of us are just having a wonderful day. But it's Monday evening. So tonight, I had a very busy weekend. I had a very emotional weekend. And it was different for me this weekend. So I'm going to send a little note out there to ask others to join me and see what we can find, what we are able to do, and what we can talk about. So let's see what we find as we go through the day, the evening, and see what comes up. Because it's it's different. So let's look at that. So hello, how are you? Hi Ali, how are you? How are you doing? It's Monday evening, and this evening is going to be quite a little dance because I decided to talk about something that, just what I went through on the weekend and how it was great, because I think you were on, and then something else came up, and here we are, and it's Monday night. And hi Kathleen, I'd really like you to come on, but I know you have to put Monroe to bed at 8. I'm going to talk a little bit about something you're really interested in. So, but first, if you want to come on, just tell me you'd like to come. It's not really hard. It's just something that I know you would love to put your teeth into it. So, what did you say? Yes, and so, hi, Deb. Hi, Dawn. How are you? But I was hoping that Kathleen would come on. But you see, you're not going to say I know that. So I'll give you a pass this time. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is two things. One thing is, I'm constantly asked why I wake up early all the time. It's a new thing for everybody, but it's not. I've been doing it for a little while, and so I finally answered that with a question. I said, I am a miner. I said, because I mine for gold and pearls and diamonds every day, I have to wake up early, because if I don't get up early to go find the gold nugget to give you, or the black pearl to give you, or the rare pink Canadian diamond to give you, then I can have nothing to offer you. So I have to be up early, so I get my mining uniform on, and I go mining for these things to hand over to you. So she listened intently, and then she said to me, how did she put it? She said, you know, you really have a big ego. So, of course, you know me, when somebody tells me something like that, I thought of it for like about 2 seconds, not more than 2 seconds. And I said, yeah, and you know what? I never knew ego had a size or a weight. So I need somebody who is better educated on egos to answer that question for me tonight. So if you know what a big ego is and how big your ego should be, then you need to tell me. So my question is, I will know Kathleen would jump in on that, but I know she has to get Monroe to bed maybe soon. I still want to know what a big ego is. She asked me a question. I gave her an answer. And then she tells me, "Ma, you have a big ego." And if I were standing next to her, and these days you cannot do that, it's either on the phone or some WhatsApp nonsense. So I said to her, well, I don't know if my ego is big, because I don't know what size egos are supposed to be, what a normal size ego is, and what a big ego is, and what a tiny ego is, and then who are the people with no egos. So I had to go in on the dictionary, you know, I always do that. I don't trust myself to come up with the answers when people ask me questions like that, because sometimes it might sting. So I thought, So it says, the ego... The ego is a person that thinks of self-importance. That's what it said. They have a feeling, they're sure of themselves, they're distinguishing, actually they said they were witty. I thought that was a good one. Then they said they have excessive high favor of themselves. But when I looked at all these things for an ego, I thought, wow, they want us to have good favor. They tell you to be sure of yourself. Take care of yourself. Be sure of yourself. Be confident. Be determined. Be this, be that. The line goes on forever of your ego. And then somebody tells you you have a big ego. So I would like somebody to jump in and tell me what a big ego is, and what do they think, if they have a big ego or if you have a small ego, or how you feel about egos. I want to know what you feel about your ego, because if you ask me a question, why do you wake up early? And I say I wake up early because I am a miner. A miner is somebody that has to go mine for gold. They mine Hydronato Hayoko. They mine for gold, or they go in and they mine for pearl in the ocean, in the side of the oyster shell. That's very dangerous. Or perhaps they go and they mine for pink Canadian diamond. Both very dangerous job. So when she said to me, why do you wake up so early? I said, because I am a miner. I have to go find gold, pearls, and diamonds every day to give to people. That's what I do. Her answer to me was, you have a big ego. So right away, as I said, I went in the dictionary to find out what a big ego was. And it doesn't say big, it says somebody who shoved themselves. At the end, it said they were conceited, they're willing, they're self-assured, they're determined, they feel good about themselves, and they're smart, they're witty, they know what they want. But it never showed me which was one that was too big, just right, and too small. Like the three little bears, the little chair for the little bear, Mama Bear and Papa Bear. So I wanted to know which of you here has a big ego, or what do you think a big ego is? I want to know. And if you want to come in on the live and talk about it, she said, Kathy said, cut it short and come some doors down for wine. Dinner is ready. Dinner's supposed to be at 5, Catherine. I would love to come for wine, but that's okay. I can't. I have to get my ego in place. I want to know what size ego I have. And nobody is coming on to tell me. Everybody's looking and not saying a word about your ego. What did Ali say? Ali said, you are the best teacher of ethics and positive energy. So at least there's somebody that likes this ego of mine. So you ask me a question, I tell you what I do, and you decide I have a big ego. And the thing about this ego thing is that I don't know what should be. I cannot be something I'm not. You have to be sure of yourself to survive in this world. You have to be sure of yourself to do things. If you know your business, you bring it out. If you're in sales, your ego better be bigger. Otherwise, you're going to stand on the doorstep constantly knocking and nobody opening the door. So that ego thing is really a big thing for me, because it was shocking that I didn't feel bad, because I don't think you should have a small attitude at all. I think if you're playing, you should play large. If you're going to be the best, then you should be the best. And you cannot be the best if you're going, look at what is his name, from the Patriots, and he went to the other team. He wanted to prove he was better than anybody, and he chose to do that. So what are we doing with people when somebody tells you, you have a big ego, because you tell them why you do something to a question that they asked. So I would like to know when your ego pops up, how you handle it. And I'm waiting for somebody to tell me. Kathleen wants me to come over and have wine. Ali is telling me I am the best positive energy teacher in the whole wide world. I'll take both of those. They're really two good things for me to have. But I still want somebody to talk about their ego, or how they manage to keep their wonderful attitude lower, smaller. Because I think you should have an ego. I think you should have an attitude about yourself. I think you should be sure of yourself. I think if you know what you know, you should put it out there. And when you put it out there, if the small people cannot manage it, then they should hide. Because all of a sudden, being sure of yourself, knowing what you know, not afraid or not backing down, stepping up when you should step up, making the effort to be there, making the effort to show up is not a good thing. People are making an ego feel like it is not a good thing. So let me hear what Donato said. Ego and pride will destroy you. But what is a big ego? Explain that. If it's going to destroy me, I should know. I should know what ego and pride is. If you're going to speak those words, then you should be able to explain it to me. That's how you correct it. You cannot criticize without having an answer. So I disagree with you, Donato. I'm sorry. If you said ego, what is an ego? What is an ego? Can you hold it in your hand? Can you describe it? Come on, show me what it is and tell me what pride is. The author of the article just said he was told he had a big ego as well and explained why he took it as a compliment. There you go. There you go. Who said that? Don. You see what I mean? Confidence and assertiveness, they're just words. You have just exchanged words, Donato. All you have done in exchange, confidence for ego, assertiveness for pride. All you did, you switch one word to match yourself. So that is not giving me the information I want. If I have a big ego, then explain it to me. What does it mean, and how can you have a small ego? Or is a small ego better? Which is it? When your ego is too big, that you become too cocky and arrogant, that's not the right way. Who said that? Who said that? Who is the person who made that rule? That when your ego is too big, how do you know this person's ego is too big? What are you weighing it against? What are you comparing it to? I want to know, because this is rubbish. This is utter rubbish. That you are telling me when your ego is too big and you become cocky. What is that? What is cocky? The rooster in the barnyard that has all these hens for himself? Come on. What do you mean by that? And you're arrogant. No, I disagree. I think there is no big ego, and if you don't like what this person's attitude is, you will say, oh, they have a big ego. Because they stand up to you, or because they're performing better than you. What it is that makes you think that that person's ego is too big? I like what Don said. The author considered it a compliment. It's what fall down from grace. No way. Grace has nothing to do with grace, because grace is love. I can have a big ego and still love. So what you're telling me, Donato, is just utter rubbish. If you want to come on and have a talk about it, then jump on. No, because they are rude to others. No. People who have confidence that somebody thinks it's an ego and that they're rude to others. That's not true. An ego does not make you rude to others. I have seen people who somebody say have no ego and then they're rude to others. There's other ways to be rude. You can push me out of the way to get there. Is that your ego doing that, or you just have no manners and you're rude? So that's what I mean. When somebody talks about somebody else's ego, they should understand what it is. Well, who decided that that word meant that you have bad ways? No, you don't. I disagree, and I want somebody to tell me. You might have seen many arrogant egomaniacs. That is your words again. You have seen them. You haven't talked to them. You haven't touched them. You haven't found out what are they arrogant about. No, humility is not always the key. Sometimes when I know humble people that their husbands walk on them like they're a doormat. I know people that are humble and humble. They're constantly, and is that what you want to be? No, nobody wants to do that. So arrogance does not mean it's ego and egomaniacs. Who decide that? Look at the meaning of the word maniacs and tell me what you think of it. And get slapped down from their pride. What a composition. Come on. You would fail if you were in my classroom and you put a sentence like that together. You wouldn't get anywhere past an English major. No way, Jose. So I've seen many arrogant egomaniacs get slapped down from their pride. And what happens to them? You know what they do? They pick that up and they go up again. So I have spoken to them and seen them get served a nice dish of humility. And what does that do? So that is not, all of that you're telling me is cutting them down. So who are you? Who made you judge of that? So this is what I want somebody to tell me. Explain that to me. And ego means you have a right to stand up on your what you know for sure you want to discuss and you feel strong about it. If I have no ego, a bully will take me down. And so your ego cannot all be bad. That is rubbish, and you know that. So you better just find a way to go there. They go and cry to their mommy. It takes one to know one. If you do that, if you have done that, that is you. So what I want you to tell me, Donato, really, putting all of that aside, We all need a certain amount of what they call ego. Not even the dictionary gives you a proper explanation that is understood. It's all a matter of what people think. It's a Latin word, and it's all a way people think about it. Don't get your ego. Well, you know what? Your ego has to be your amigo, because if they meet the likes of you that want to cut them down. No, a person that has attitude and talk to you and stood up to you and tell you this, then you have to learn how to stand up to them. It's called confidence. Confidence is going to be discussed tomorrow night, and I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be on fire, because I am discussing it with Zan, and I'm positive that he is going to have a certain type of confidence that he's talking about, and mine will be a different type of confidence. But I wanted to take ego tonight. I wanted to understand that. I have a big ego because I told you I get up every morning and I go to look for what I want to share. And I call it mining. And actually, she turned it around and said, what I really wanted to know is, don't you ever look for content? Don't you ever get jabbed and you cannot think of what you're going to say? And that is what made it worse, because I said no. I said it doesn't matter. When it comes at me, I just go with it. I said no, I am never looking for something to say, because I make it my job to study what's happening in the world, study what's happening to people, look at what we're talking about, look at what we're discussing about, get involved in my community, and know. So I can use the experience I had with my girlfriend last night and use it as a live in 2 weeks. Sometimes it is so ridiculous that I use it for the live the next morning. I have people who say things to me and I wonder if they really should say that to me, knowing that in 3 days I'll be talking about it. So is that confidence, or is that my ego speaking? Which is it? So you see, that ego thing is just a word to put people down, that they cannot come up and stand next to them. That person that's criticizing and saying, this person has a big ego, that is because they have a very tiny light that cannot shine. And their light is not shining as bright as the other person's light. So what does, according to the powerpositivity.com, the 6 signs of an oversized ego are: they always have to be right. Here you go. They always want more and never satisfied. They must always win. Well, you see, so I don't have a big ego. I don't care if I'm right. I like having somebody explain to me why I'm wrong done. And then always want more. I'm satisfied. I'm good for that God. I learn more, and they must almost win. Well, winning is not almost winning. It's knowing what you want to do. So I agree with this, and now I can get what an ego is. But all what you said there, I don't know. They require constant recognition. They have one-sided conversations, and they lack empathy. I don't see that in your soul. Neither do I. I don't see that in me. But that thing about having a big ego, because I said what I am capable of doing, is not right. And of course, you know me, I told her this is not right. My ego is not big at all. My ego is that I know I have a job to do. I have a determination. I have something to do. I'm going to do it now. Hi, Rosie. How are you doing? Somebody said that I have a big ego, Rosie. That's what we're fighting about. Donato is telling me ego is this and ego is that. So someone said to me, my dear Rosie, is that when she asked, what do you do? Why do you get up so early in the morning? I said, I get up early in the morning because I have to go mine for information to do with my lives. And that's when I do it. So I said to her, I have to go looking for a golden nugget. I have to go deep into the ocean and find a pearl, a black pearl. Then I have to come back up to the Canadian mines and go dig for a pink diamond to hand out to all the people who come to listen to me. And she said, Ma, you have a big ego. So I took offense to that. That does not seem like I have a big ego. So Don has given me a lot of reasons why my ego is not that big. I am not always right, I know that. And Donato says, we're not fighting, we're discussing. Rosie, we're not fighting, we're discussing. Hi, Nina. Welcome to the Tessa show, where Donato thinks my ego is arrogant or whatever. So I'm putting Donato on the line. We saw his comments. Somebody told me I had a big ego because I said I mine for nuggets and I mine for diamonds and I mine for pearls to give to you guys. That's why I get up early in the morning. And she decided, you had a big ego. So I came here to find out what is the real meaning of ego. And Dawn had a really good description, and I don't think it suited me. So I don't think I have a big ego. What I think is that I know what I want to do every day. So I get up early so I can perform it. Kathleen came and she told me maybe I should come over and have some wine $3 away. So that's an option since Lent is over. But I'm standing here, Rose, and I'm asking you guys, who's not fighting? Donata and I are not fighting. He's giving me a lot of pressure on my ego, telling me people with big egos and they're arrogant and he's seen them slapped down and all of that. So I said, what is an ego? I want somebody to tell me, how do you measure whether somebody has a big ego or not? How do you measure it? Dawn had some point. She said they have self-conversation, they prefer, they fight, they have to win and all these other things. But when I look at it, saying that I am going to mine for gold, I'm going to dive in the ocean to get a pearl, and then I'm going to dig in the mine of Northern Ontario to look for a pink diamond to give to you guys when you come with your little, whatever I have to offer. And she said, you have a big ego. So I told her, no. I said, I want you to explain to me what an ego is, because I know you have the three little bears, the three bears. The baby bear had a smaller chair, the mama bear had a mid-sized chair, and the papa bear had a big chair. So which one is it? So let me hear what Nina says about an ego. Ego is edging God out. See? That is so, and I certainly don't edge God out. So she was wrong. I don't put God out at all. So Nina has a different description than the man who wrote that book on positivity. So edging God out is that, but that is not, because you have to remember, though, Nina, think about it. That person is a creation of God. And if they edge God out, does God have a right to pluck the ego and take it away and keep it away from them? So each one of us, no matter how bad we are, how good we are, how silly we are, how smart we are, it doesn't matter what we are. As long as we are human, we were created in the image and likeness of God. So we have to understand that, guys, that person that has that big ego, they could have a big ego and they kneel down and be humble when they're praying. So we don't know what it is. That ego, they just made up words to get us to dislike each other. I think all of these words are meant to be deceitful, to divide us, so that we don't like each other. We don't see the unique in each other. Like, this woman knows me, but because I told her what I do without being shy about it, she said to me, the ego, I have a big ego. So what did when that? You can either be a host to God or a hostage to your ego. It's your call. Well, there you go, choose. So I choose to have a host with God. I don't have an ego that goes out there and do anything. Without God, I tell you guys that. Look at what happened on Easter Sunday. Was it Easter Sunday? When I went out to do that live yesterday. And this young lady from Iran came on and asked if she could come on the live. I didn't really know her. I said, sure. She came on the live and she spoke. And before it could end, if you watch the entire live, I was already in tears. Her experience of, because she's a Christian, really, really frightened me. I was overwhelmed, I was overcome, I was everything. And I tossed with it all night because I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand, but I was scared we didn't have that here. I was happy we didn't experience that. She couldn't pray openly. Because she changed her religion, she could end up in jail. So what is it? Who has ego in that country? The person who throws her in jail because she made a choice? So this is the thing I want somebody to understand, is that we need to look at everybody and see that there is something tiny in them to learn. You are not egotistical. No, I don't know what that is, but because you are sure of yourself, sometimes people take it, especially women, especially when women stand up for what they believe or put themselves out there and say, I can do a job just as good as this man, and you're not paying me enough. They're telling her she has a big ego. Your ego, I was told that, but Tessa-Marie, you have to start over there. And I said, well, how come he didn't start over there? And when I told that to my director, he looked at me like, and I said, yeah, explain that part of me. He's true, he's a year younger than me, but he didn't start over there. Where you want to send me to start, he skipped over it, and his grades and his performance is beneath mine. So I said to him, so because he has 3 letters in his gender, and I have 5 in my gender, I get less? And he looked at me, he said, and he didn't know what to say. I said, well, he's man, I am woman, and because I have more letters to carry me, you're going to put me back. Why? Explain that to me. He couldn't explain it to me, so he had to give me the promotion. I took it. But what would I have done? Was that feeding my ego? Was that telling me that I should say, oh, let him go? Is that what the poor little woman must do? So we women maybe have to go buy some ego because we need it so we can stand up to it. A man is assertive and a woman is doing the same thing. She's aggressive. But that's what they always say. That's what they always tell you. You're too aggressive. What am I to do? Sit home and dance socks? Or to sit down and knit a blanket for my feet when it gets cold? What am I supposed to be? If I'm not aggressive, how can I eat? We found out the other day, a woman makes 78 cents to a man's dollar. It's still like that. And you're talking about ego? We need to go buy some ego. Ego is not all bad. I want you guys to get that. It cannot be all bad. There is no way, because you need it to stand up to a man. Wishes fulfilled is my favorite. Talking about winter and I'm sure, I know you would continue with that. But think about it, guy. I had to tell him, and luckily I looked at words and numbers the same way. So I realized man has 3 letters, woman has 5. Is that why you're keeping me back? It's because I'm heavier than him? And literally I wasn't heavier than him. So when I brought that back, he hadn't a choice. He had to say, okay, you made your point, because if he hadn't allowed me to make that point, I would have gone to come and complain about it. Is that ego or is that being aggressive? Which one is it? Why can I not be aggressive? I'm a human being. Why cannot I have aggression if I want to use it to get a better job? Excuse me, Donato, you're looking like you're cruising for a bruising tonight. Men were working in the workforce more and women stayed where? And when the men went to more, who carried this thing? Do you realize the power a woman has? We can stop this whole thing from moving. We women can actually just stop things from going the way it's supposed to go. We have a choice. Women stayed home, but not more women. And now more women are working, and they're getting paid more now. Oh, thank you, Donato. You're so cute. You really want people to cheer you apart. You're lucky you're not in the crowd, because they'll take you down. That is horrible. That is chauvinistic. That is silly. Don't say that. Don't say that. Women have ruled the world. Look at the famous women. If they had a woman running America, you think they would have that life there? Come on. All the other countries, if all these little men that are short and fat. Come on. Women power. Look at when they had Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Woman. They had Golden Mary in Israel, Indira Gandhi in India, and they had Eugenia Charles in Dominica. They called them the Iron Women. Grow up, people. Grow up. You agree? You don't conform. It's taken me years to undo the awful conditioning of the culture in Iran. I lived there for many years and they don't treat women well at all. It's true. We know that. If you had seen what I had to do with Azad on Sunday, I couldn't imagine that happening to us. I couldn't imagine that happening in North America. But Iran was once a country that followed the Western thing. I understand all that. And we don't want that. But the point of it, they didn't want that. They got something else. And it's tough. It's difficult. But still, women have to have their strength. And I agree to a certain extent that ego can be devastating. But when you say somebody has a big ego, you better look at the whole picture. Telling you what I do when you ask me the question shouldn't have been the ego. And I did tell her that. So what I'm trying to say is that, and Donato, you are in punishment. You're going to somewhere, I don't even know where I can send you. Because what I know for sure is that we stayed home. But when you guys had to take your backsides to war, we stood up. Did you see the woman? They still have her ad where she was building airplanes and everything. We can do it just as well as you guys by carrying a baby. If one of my neighbors said, what he knows for sure, if men had to have children, there would be one child on every street, because that man would come home and tell them how difficult it was to have a baby, and all the men would stop having babies. End of the human race if a man had our job. So wake up, men, and you, Donato, you're in so much trouble. You have no idea. When I get to you, you'll be sorry. So, Nina, naughty corner. Naughty corner for him indeed, Nina. That man is not, he's mental. I'm sure he went to hide. He will not come back on there tonight. So what we have to remember, ladies, is that when somebody tells you you're egotistical and you're aggressive, look at yourself and see why. If I don't stand up on my 2 feet and stand up and let my other sisters climb on my shoulder for us to get to break the glass ceiling, they call us egotistical. There is a 21st century man telling me that men went to work and women stayed home. My grandmother never worked, and she had more money than my grandfather because he didn't know how to count his own money. So when he gave her money to buy groceries, she scammed some of it. And when she showed us where she hid the money, and I said to her, why is it there? She said, because he doesn't know. He'll never leave the mattress. He'll never turn the mattress. She said, the man sleeps like a baby on thousands of dollars underneath him, and he's none the smarter. That's woman power. The author said that first and foremost, we have 2 egos, positive and negative ego, like yin and yang. There you go, Dawn, I agree with you. The woman with the negative ego is somebody that they have crushed to the ground. And we don't need that. We need women to stand up and fight for themselves. We need women to know that we have power. God, if we got together, we could put men to sleep like Rip Van Winkle for hundreds of years. They would never wake up. So, too much whose best is the wrong attitude. Women nor men are not better than one another. It doesn't say nothing about disrespecting each other. It's about working together in harmony according to faith. You changed your mind, afraid that we might revolt and get you and do something disgusting, put you to sleep? Come on, that wasn't what you were saying 5 minutes ago. So anyway, the point of the matter is that you have come down. And that's where you should be. The most important thing, Donato, is that you realize of your ways, that your ways are not nice, that your thinking and your writing was not good for us, and we have dropped you down a peg or 2. We know that God is the power, but men, no, don't put us in the category with you guys. Men came and they thought they could rule the world, and then we got wiser than them and we took it back. So you see that tiny little thing called the X we have there? If we can exercise that when we get the chance, we can blow you guys out the top. So wait, Donato, wait. Things are going to look worse for you. So pardon me, excuse me, you have to apologize. You're in so much trouble. So guys, I hope we had Nina and all of you guys and Ali and Dawn and Kathleen ran away so she could have to, and Donato, thanks for your crazy words. And Nina, thanks for coming in and letting him know that. Nina said, yes, pretty Tessa, you're breaking the norm. Yeah, well, we go. We have to, girls. We have to. So that's the most important thing. Dawn, I love your information. It's the best information. Rose, thanks for coming in. Time out, Rose said. Put Donato in time out. Oh my God. You're in the naughty corner. Naughty corner for you. So this is interesting, ladies. What I want, Ali is my solid supporter. Donato, move over. Let Ali take his place. Confidence is a tremendous strength. When you begin to believe on yourself, magic begins to happen. Yes, and I believe in magic. Good for you. You're great. You don't conform. It's taking me years to do. You'll get there, Nina. Don't worry. You're going to get there. And you're going to be, if you have children, they'll be just as fabulous as you. I don't even want to read your comments, Donato. They're so disempowering. I can't believe they came from you. I love Wayne Dwyer a lot too, and I agree with him on a lot of things. But guys, we have to know exactly what we believe. When we see something like that, when we come across situations as this, we have to know when somebody has the audacity to tell you that you you have a big ego, and I wonder if she even knew the meaning of the word. I didn't question her. I just told her no, and I told her off, as you know. I don't waste words at all. And I certainly don't put marbles in my mouth when I need to speak, or put water in my mouth so when I cannot hear what I'm saying. I like to say it loud and clear. But if you don't want the answer, don't ask the question. If you're asking somebody a question, somebody that you purport to know, then expect they're going to come back. Because most times the sting, the person that comes stinging you, is not it cannot hurt. It's the bite that does it. So when you bite back, sometimes it hurts. So tonight, I had something planned, but I wanted to go into that ego thing. And I have to say thanks to Donato to get me fired up. Ali for keeping me calm. Nina for giving me something to think about. Rose to support me. And Rose to come and look at us and said, I am not getting in this, I'm running away. And Dawn, who came and gave us some facts. Thank you, all of you. And Kathleen, who offered me wine. I'm certainly going to need wine after this. But anyway, I'm saving the wine for my birthday next month, and I'll have to have it online. So what I'm trying to say to everybody is that I am happy that all of you showed up tonight and made this conversation stimulating. Let us see, tomorrow night I won't do a 7 p.m. show because I'll have that 8 p.m. show with Zan. But I would really appreciate if you guys could come on and see what's going to happen. Zan is a confidence coach. I never said I was a confidence coach. I am a teacher. My friend Ali has given me that title and I love it. I am a teacher. I let you see. I help where it's possible. I take you on a journey. I show you where I've been. I showed you the stops I fell into. I tell you there's a bump in this road. I told you this road is going to lead to nowhere. I said at the end of this road there is a precipice. If you go any further, you will fall. I am a teacher. I don't want to coach you. I want to teach you. I want to speak with you. I want to converse with you. So what we did tonight was what I love. I love a conversation, and that's why I ask you when you come on, think of something, push me a bit, because if I'm not pushed, I cannot deliver. If I'm not pushed, I cannot bring up what is deep inside of me. I need to do that. So this is what I want from you guys. I want you to always test me. Donato did it. It's great, but he knows I'll get fired up. So I like that because we are learning. I can only learn. And I liked what Nina said about that is putting God out and getting in, pushing God out. That makes sense. If that ego is destructive, but I still go and get the meaning of that word. I'm going to have to really think about it. I'll go in meditation. If the meanings in all the dictionaries I look today were kind of the same, it's almost like they didn't know what the meaning truly, really was. And I really want to get who came up with it, because there's a Latin form that's much longer and I'm sure it means a lot more. So the ego thing is an overused word, like we do a lot in the English language in modern times. We take a word and we just abuse it and we make it into what it's not. Because who decided the word ego was bad? Who decided that? Who made it bad? And yet we need it to survive. As women, we need to have a certain amount of that to survive. We need to be a bit aggressive to survive. We still have a long way to go when we're making 78 cents to a man's dollar. And it's not that the man is any smarter, you know that. Because remember in that movie when she made the pie and she served it to him, he didn't know. So there you go. So that is one of the things we have to understand. We need to stand up and be sure of ourselves, take a step forward, don't be afraid. The most you can do is fall. And if you fall, you always have an opportunity to stand up again. While the man is passing around and he's not stopping to pick you up, you grab his leg and you can pull him down and stand up. Somehow, somewhere you can make it to the top of where you want to go. So ego or no ego, the point is mark your spot. Get determined. Do what you have to do. Stand up for yourself and don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough or your ego is big. And I'm sure she cannot measure it. I still want the measurement for a big ego. If there is a big one, then there must be a small one because there has to be opposite. So which is the right one to have? So sending you light and joy on this wonderful evening. Everybody, was a pleasure. and Rosita Bird. Thank you. And call me back. Let me see if I have room for us to do something tonight. It would be great. So, and tomorrow night, see you at 8 o'clock. We're going to have some fun with Zan. I think he's going to try to show us that his confidence coaching is the way to go. So we have to give him a little bit of a headache. We have to set him a fire, give him something to think about. And I'm counting on you guys in my corner. I need my team. So see you guys. Take care. Love you. And talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.